First Contact Protocol. The Voratian Empire didn't conquer planets. They harvested them. Captain Merrick stood on the bridge of the Claw of Dominion, his chidnous exoskeleton gleaming under the soft blue lights. His 4 primary eyes scanned the holographic display, while his secondary pair remained fixed on his command crew. 200 cycles of military service had taught him to always watch those who served under him. Loyalty in the Empire was conditional at best. Tactical, report on the Sol system. Merrick's voice clicked and rasped through his translator. Lieutenant Vazra, her scales shimmering with nervous energy, manipulated the controls with her elongated fingers. Initial scans complete, Captain. 9 planets, 1 habitable. 3rd planet from the star shows signs of primitive civilization, as intelligence predicted. Merrick's mandibles twitched in what passed for a smile among his kind. The Empire's expansionist ambitions required resources, and primitive worlds were the easiest to process. Minimal resistance, maximum yield. It was a formula that had built the most feared military force in the known galaxy. The humans, he chittered softly. What do we know about them? Commander Dresk, his second-in-command, stepped forward. The Saurian's tail swished impatiently behind him. Isolated species, Captain. Made rudimentary space travel centuries ago, then went silent. Intelligence suggests they may have regressed or destroyed themselves. No significant technological signatures detected. No defense grid. No orbital platforms. Perfect. Merrick clicked his mandibles together. Prepare stealth insertion teams. I want boots on the ground within 1 rotation. Standard protocol. Observe. Assess. Map strategic assets. The bridge crew moved with practiced efficiency. The Claw of Dominion was the Empire's finest scout vessel, a kilometer-long predator built for first strike operations. Its stealth systems were unmatched, its crew the elite of 17 subjugated species. They had performed this operation dozens of times before. None of them anticipated failure. The first sign came when the insertion shuttles entered Earth's atmosphere. Communications became erratic, filled with static and whispers that the comms officers couldn't filter out. 6 teams deployed to 6 continents. Within hours, 5 had gone completely silent. The 6th team's final transmission made no sense. "They're everywhere," gasped Lieutenant Krev, his reptilian features contorted in what appeared to be pain. "Not physical. In our minds. They're watching. They've been watching since we arrived. They're not primitive at all. They evolved differently. The transmission cut to static. Merrick ordered immediate extraction, but the recovery teams found nothing. No bodies, no equipment, just empty landing sites and strange markings that the ship's xenolinguists couldn't decipher. "Launch orbital surveillance drones," Merrick ordered, his voice betraying none of the unease growing in his thoracic cavity. Full spectrum analysis. The drones deployed but returned confusing data. Cities appeared abandoned, reclaimed by vegetation. Yet energy signatures pulsed from unexpected locations. Deep oceans, mountain ranges, beneath the polar ice. Not the concentrated patterns of primitive civilizations, but a dispersed web that seemed to cover the entire planet. 3 crew members on the sensor team began reporting hallucinations. One clawed out his tertiary eyes, screaming about the weight of memory, before security subdued him. Merrick ordered a full quarantine of all personnel who had processed data from the planet. "Captain," Commander Dresk approached, his scaled skin pale. "Something's happening to the ship's systems." The Claw's quantum computers were experiencing inexplicable glitches. Navigation calculations failed. Weapons systems reported phantom targets. The AI began logging conversations that never happened. It's as if. Dresk hesitated, something Merrick had never witnessed from his coldly efficient second. It's as if something is learning our technology, not attacking it, learning it. That night, as Merrick rested in his quarters, he experienced it himself. Not dreams. Voratians didn't dream. But memories that weren't his own. He saw Earth's oceans from the perspective of something swimming in abyssal depths. He felt the sensation of human fingers touching soil. He heard human voices speaking words his translator couldn't process, yet somehow he understood their meaning. "We see you." By the third rotation, the crew was fracturing. 17 different species, each experiencing the influence differently. The Saurians became paranoid, convinced the humans were hiding among them. The mantids refused to process any more data from the planet. The cybernetically enhanced Threll reported hearing whispers through their implants. Merrick called his senior officers to the secure war room. "We're dealing with something unprecedented," he stated flatly. "This is not a primitive civilization. This is not a technological civilization as we understand it. Whatever humans have become, they've evolved along a different path." Science Officer Leth, her translucent body pulsing with bioluminescent stress patterns, projected her findings. The planet itself appears integrated with whatever the humans have become. Biological readings are confusing. We detect human DNA, but it's been modified, enhanced at a fundamental level. They appear to have merged with their environment in some symbiotic way. "A hive mind?" asked Dresk. "More complex," Leth replied. "Individual consciousness within a collective framework. They don't need ships or weapons. Their entire planet is both their body and their defense system." "Impossible," Dresk hissed. "No species could achieve that without technology we would detect. Unless," Merrick clicked thoughtfully, "they evolved beyond technology as we understand it. Integration rather than construction." The war room fell silent as the implications settled over them. "We should report this to High Command," Dresk finally said. "Request reinforcements." "No," Merrick's decision was immediate. "We're contaminated. Whatever they are, they're already inside our systems, possibly inside us. We cannot risk spreading this to the Empire." "You suggest retreat." Dresk's tail lashed in agitation. "The Empire does not retreat. The Empire has never encountered anything like this," Merrick countered. "We have no protocol for a species that can infiltrate minds and systems without conventional weapons." Before Dresk could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. 3 crew members had seized a shuttle and were attempting to flee. Not toward Earth, away from it, into deep space. Merrick watched on the view screen as the shuttle's engines overloaded, creating a brief, brilliant flare against the blackness. Suicide rather than contamination. "Your orders, Captain?" asked his bridge crew when he returned, their various alien physiologies all showing signs of stress. Merrick looked at the beautiful blue planet on the view screen. So peaceful looking, so deadly. "Prepare for immediate departure," he ordered. "Scrub all systems. Purge all data collected. We're implementing First Contact Protocol Omega." First Contact Protocol Omega was rarely used, a complete information blackout designed for encounters with civilizations too dangerous to risk any data leakage. The coordinates would be marked forbidden. The crew would be quarantined and debriefed individually upon return. As the Claw of Dominion prepared to break orbit, Merrick heard it again in his mind. "We see you. We know you now. And now you will carry us with you." The engines engaged, and Earth grew smaller on their screens. But the whispers didn't fade with distance. If anything, they became clearer, more insistent. The Empire had found Earth. Or perhaps, Merrick thought with growing dread, Earth had found them. The warning. The Claw of Dominion limped through the void between stars, its once proud systems failing one by one. What should have been a 3-cycle journey to the nearest Imperial outpost had stretched into 10 agonizing cycles of malfunction, mutiny, and madness. Captain Merrick stood in the ship's morgue, surrounded by the bodies of his crew. 73 dead, some by their own hands, others killed in the fighting when paranoia fractured discipline beyond repair. The remaining crew, just 29 from the original complement of 100, were shadows of themselves. Hollow-eyed, jumpy, speaking in whispers as if afraid of being overheard. By what? By whom? The questions haunted Merrick. Captain, Commander Dresk's voice came from the doorway. The Saurian had aged visibly, his scales dulled, his posture stooped. Navigation reports were approaching Imperial Outpost Vega 9. Thank you, Commander. Merrick's translator struggled to convey his tone correctly. The device had begun translating words he never spoke, adding phrases and sometimes falling silent altogether. None of the ship's systems had remained untouched by Earth's influence. The quantum computers displayed code that rewrote itself while being observed. The environmental systems created phantom readings, the smell of Earth rain, the sound of ocean waves. Most disturbing were the holographic projectors that occasionally showed human figures walking the corridors, visible only from the corner of one's eyes. How many more believed there? Infected? Merrick asked. Dresk's vertical pupils dilated. 17 now. They claim the humans are inside them, learning, watching through their eyes. Merrick didn't admit that he felt it too, a presence in his mind, a weight of consciousness that wasn't his own. Not invasive, not controlling, but observing, learning. Sometimes when he closed his 4 primary eyes, he saw Earth landscapes he had never visited. In his sleep cycle, he heard human languages gradually becoming comprehensible. Maintain quarantine protocols, Merrick ordered. No communications with Vega 9 until we're in orbit. Sir, Dresk hesitated. The crew is afraid High Command will order our destruction. There's talk of going rogue, taking the ship beyond Imperial space. We serve the Empire. Merrick clicked sharply. We will follow protocol. The words felt hollow. The Empire conquered through superior technology and biological adaptation, taking the strengths of each species they subjugated and incorporating them into their war machine. But what they'd encountered at Earth defied categorization. It couldn't be conquered because it didn't exist in a form they could fight. As they approached Vega 9, the outpost's automated defenses scanned their vessel, and almost immediately, alarm protocols activated. The Claw of Dominion was ordered to maintain a quarantine orbit, and a high-level Imperial delegation prepared to board for inspection. Merrick met them in the decontamination chamber, separated by a transparent barrier. 3 high commanders, their exoskeletons adorned with the gold filigree of their station, regarded him with compound eyes that betrayed no emotion. Captain Merrick, the central figure, identified himself as High Commander Vex. Your preliminary report is disturbing. You claim to have encountered a non-technological threat on the 3rd planet. Yes, High Commander. Merrick straightened his posture, fighting the exhaustion that had seeped into his carapace. The humans have evolved beyond conventional civilization. They've integrated themselves with their planet at a biological and possibly quantum level. And you believe they've infected your ship, your crew. Contaminated would be a more accurate term, High Commander. They observe through us, learn through us. They don't control, they coexist. The High Commanders exchanged glances, their antennae twitching in the subtle communication patterns of the Imperial elite. Your medical officer reports 17 crew members experiencing psychotic delusions, said Vex. The rest showing varying degrees of stress response. And your ship's AI has become unreliable. These are signs of exposure to hallucinogenic compounds or radiation, Captain, not contact with an advanced species. With respect, High Commander, what we encountered was clearly a natural defense mechanism, interrupted Vex. Many planets evolve toxic atmospheres or biological agents that affect neural function. Your failure was in not recognizing the contamination sooner. Merrick's mandibles clicked in frustration. The planet showed signs of previous civilization, cities, infrastructure. The humans didn't die out. They evolved into something else. Enough. Vex's translator conveyed his impatience perfectly. The Empire has faced thousands of species across 12 galaxies. None have possessed the abilities you describe. It is far more likely your crew's perception was compromised. The conversation continued, but Merrick saw the decision had already been made. The Claw of Dominion would be decontaminated. its systems purged, its crew treated for neurological damage, its findings dismissed as hallucination. And the coordinates to Earth would be marked not as forbidden, but as a resource-rich prize ripe for harvesting. As Merrick returned to his quarters, he felt the presence in his mind stir. Not with fear, not with anger, but with something that felt disturbingly like anticipation. That night, as the Imperial specialists began their decontamination procedures, 17 crew members across the ship simultaneously accessed communication systems. Each sent the same message to different corners of the Empire before security protocols could stop them. When questioned, none remembered doing it. The message was simple. Earth is awake. Earth is watching. Earth is coming. By morning, Captain Merrick knew what he had to do. The Empire wouldn't listen to warnings. They only understood power, domination, results. So he would give them results they couldn't ignore. He recorded his final report, encrypting it with his highest clearance codes and setting it to release to every Imperial command center on a delay. Then he made his way to the engine core, evading the Imperial guards now stationed throughout his ship. Commander Dresk found him there, bypassing safety protocols on the antimatter containment field. "Captain," Dresk didn't sound surprised. "You're going to destroy the ship. The Empire is preparing a harvest fleet," Merrick replied, his manipulators moving precisely across the controls. 40 ships. 30,000 troops. They'll be annihilated, and whatever returns will spread Earth's influence faster and wider than we can imagine. They won't believe your warning. No. Merrick's mandibles formed the Voratian expression of grim amusement. But they'll believe this. The antimatter containment alarms began to sound. Around them, the ship's systems activated seemingly on their own. Doors sealing, communications broadcasting on emergency channels, escape pods launching with no life signs aboard. "It's helping us," Dresk whispered. Yes. Merrick felt the presence in his mind, clearer now than ever before. Not hostile, not malevolent. Simply inevitable. Earth understands survival better than any species in the galaxy. It evolved not by conquering its environment, but by becoming one with it. And now it's ready to emerge. Merrick stepped back from the controls as they continued moving on their own, the ship becoming a puppet to unseen hands, not to conquer, to transform. As Imperial security forces pounded on the sealed doors of the engine room, Merrick and Dresk stood side by side, watching the containment field fluctuate. "Will it hurt?" asked Dresk, his reptilian features showing fear and, strangely, acceptance. "I don't think so," Merrick replied. "I think we're already part of it." The antimatter containment field collapsed. The claw of Dominion erupted in a blast that obliterated the Imperial outpost and sent a quantum pulse across Imperial communication channels. Every system that received the pulse began behaving erratically. Displays showed images of Earth. Communications played human languages. And in the minds of those who operated these systems, a whisper began, soft at first, then increasingly clear. "We see you. We know you now. And now we are coming." The Empire had found Earth, the deadliest species in the galaxy, not because of weapons or technology, but because it had transcended the very concept of individual existence. And now, carried by the Empire's own ships and systems and people, Earth's consciousness was spreading across the stars. The harvest had begun, but not as the Empire had planned. Earth wasn't being consumed. Earth was consuming.